There is a specific form of fear that does not come from a stranger in a dark alley. It comes from the sudden, jarring realization that someone has been standing inside your private life, studying your routine, measuring your footsteps, and pricing your existence, all while smiling in your face. In Queens, New York, an innocent woman woke up, made her morning coffee, and left for work. She believed her life was safe, anchored by a predictable marriage and a quiet suburban routine. What she did not know was that her entire daily routine had already been converted into a precise execution schedule. Her precise route to work, the layout of her front entrance, the exact hour she was left alone. All of it had been compiled into a digital target file.
The person who compiled that file was not an external rival or an unknown intruder. It was Yue Zhou. Zhou was involved in an extramarital affair with the victim's husband, but she did not want to remain an off-the-books partner. She wanted a total systemic displacement. She wanted the house. She wanted the husband. She wanted the life. And to achieve that, she arrived at a calculated conclusion. The wife had to be permanently removed from the equation. To understand how a person moves from an hidden affair to an organized murder plot, you have to look at what behavioral analysts call the parasitic boundary. Zhou did not act out of a sudden burst of rage. There was no argument, no immediate physical confrontation. Instead, she spent months observing the victim from a distance, absorbing the details of her life, and converting emotional envy into structural logistics. She told herself she was being cautious.
Actually, let me rephrase that.
She convinced herself that if she transferred the physical execution to a third party, she could manipulate the reality of the crime entirely. She assumed that by using digital tools, she could isolate herself from the physical consequences.
This brings us to the core mechanics of her strategy, and what federal prosecutors later identified as the alibi window. Zhou understood that if the victim died, the husband would be the primary suspect. Therefore, the murder could not just happen anywhere or at any time. It had to happen within a specific 60-minute window on a specific weekday. During those exact 60 minutes, her lover would be surrounded by coworkers in a brightly lit public office, captured on multiple security cameras. An airtight alibi, built intentionally to protect the man she intended to keep. To pull this off without leaving a physical footprint, Zhou turned to the dark web. She downloaded the necessary routing software, masked her network configuration, and adopted the online alias BIGTREE.
Look at the psychological leverage here. Under the identity of BIGTREE, Zhou began searching for contract execution services. She wasn't looking for a chaotic street assault. She wanted an organized, quiet operational strike. She submitted a target package to a dark web forum that promised professional elimination services. That target package contained high-resolution photographs of the victim. Access the residential property without triggering local alarms. Zhou even offered additional monetary incentives, along with promises of future cash bonuses and personal favors, if the job was completed strictly within her designated alibi window.
Zhou believed she had built a flawless operational barrier. She relied on what cybersecurity analysts term the anonymity paradox, the false belief that because a screen hides your face, the network hides your existence. What did Zhou think she got right? She assumed that cryptocurrency was completely untraceable. To fund the hit, she sourced roughly $5,000 in Bitcoin. She did not purchase it directly through a standard regulated exchange under her primary bank account. Instead, she routed the funds through a third-party crypto service based in Ukraine, utilizing a cash middleman in Brooklyn to obscure the paper trail. She believed that by layering the transaction across multiple international nodes, she had effectively dissolved the connection between her physical bank account and the digital wallet used by BIGTREE. She was wrong.
What Zhou failed to grasp is that cryptocurrency operates on an immutable public ledger. Encryption hides the identity of the key holder, but it does not erase the transaction path. Every Satoshi transferred leaves a permanent digital footprint, known as unspent transaction outputs, or UTXOs. While Zhou was checking her encrypted messages, expecting confirmation that the target had been eliminated, her digital transmissions were not going to a shadowy underworld syndicate. The dark web portal she had accessed was actually an operational honeypot monitored by federal agents from Homeland Security Investigations, El Dorado Task Force, and the FBI.
When federal investigators flagged the target package, they didn't just see an abstract threat. They saw a live domestic threat targeting a specific resident in Queens. The clock was running. Now, ask yourself this. How does a suspect operating behind anonymized servers and foreign crypto exchanges get exposed in real time? The answer lies in structural traceability. Federal cyber forensic analysts took the wallet address provided by BIGTREE and mapped the transaction history backward. They didn't need to break the dark web's encryption. They simply followed the flow of ledger entries as they moved out of the Ukrainian exchange.
The cash middleman in Brooklyn? He kept digital receipts. The local bank ATMs used to deposit the initial fiat currency, they had high-definition surveillance cameras. By overlaying the exact timestamps of the Bitcoin purchases with the physical surveillance logs from local New York banking kiosks, investigators closed the gap. They discovered an unmistakable pattern. The exact minute cash was fed into a local deposit terminal in Flushing, the corresponding value in Bitcoin was generated and transferred to BIGTREE's destination wallet. The physical world and the digital world had intersected.
Wait. Consider the timing of her personal communications as well. Investigators correlated the timestamps of BIGTREE's encrypted forum logins with Zhao's mobile phone cell tower pings. Whenever her lover stepped away from her side, BIGTREE went active. Whenever her lover returned, BIGTREE went silent. The behavioral sync was absolute.
In June 2024, the facade collapsed. Federal agents executed an arrest warrant, taking Yue Zhou into custody. She was unsealed in a federal indictment in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of New York, charged with federal murder for hire under Title 18 of the United States Code. When agents reviewed her devices, the operational isolation she thought she had engineered was entirely absent. The photos sent to the contract site were retrieved directly from her local storage cache. The floor plans were saved in her temporary browser files. The alias BIGTREE was tied to an active session running on her personal hardware. Zhou thought she was executing a brilliant, detached strategy. What the data proved was that she was leaving a continuous, high-definition trail of evidence across multiple federal jurisdictions. She had confused technological complexity with criminal invulnerability. The case of Yue Zhou serves as a cold demonstration of modern forensic reality. We often believe our internal motivations can remain hidden behind digital screens and anonymized aliases. But human psychology creates predictable habits, and predictable habits leave undeniable data. Trust is fragile, but data is permanent. When personal desire transforms into calculated harm, the very tools used to hide the truth often become the precise instruments that reveal it. If you want to read the raw evidence yourself, including the unsealed federal indictment memos, digital blockchain tracking logs, and official task force court filings, you can access the complete case files through our dedicated Telegram channel, linked directly in the description below. In the end, human motivation rarely changes. Only the tools do. And no matter how deep you bury a plan in the dark, the data always finds its way to the light.